Give it to the entire campaign, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
So, first of all, my name is Jake Turx from Ami Magazine, and despite what some of my colleagues may have been reporting, I haven't seen anybody in my community accuse either yourself or anyone on your staff of being anti-Semitic.
The gentleman from
The great state of New Jersey, Jake Turx, that's my name.
Jake Turx, what are you doing here at the Democratic National Convention?
I am here to learn, I'm here to acquire new knowledge, meet great people, and to come away with a better understanding of the system, the process, and the people involved in it.
And you don't specifically have any horse in the field that you're not supporting a Democrat, Republican?
Absolutely not. I detest the idea of having 330 million people forced into one of two rooms. One party, two party, 330 million people deserve a lot more voices and a lot more, representation.
So what would you do?
I wouldn't do anything. There's nothing that can be done really against a two-party system that's been around since 1796 and has billions and billions of dollars in their coffers. A third party is not the answer, a fourth party is not the answer, and the system is never going to be reformed, so I guess it is what it is.
And you have no support, you don't care Hillary, Trump, Bernie Shlomo Sanders?
No.
It doesn't matter for you?
No, I like to follow the stories. I like to see how different. I was by the Republican convention too. I like I said, I like asking questions like you're asking to try to understand how people see the parties or the individuals who are running in the parties, and just to try to get a better understanding of where America stands right now.
What have you learned here? Anything specific?
Not really. Interesting thing, being at both conventions gives me the insight to know that not only are most of the things that each party says about the other lies, but many of the things are the same exact lies that they both say about each other. But because very few people are at both conventions, they don't get that kind of exposure.
What is your underlying issue? Your main issues?
I don't have any main
your specific personal issues.
No,
as to who you're voting, like Israel, perhaps, or
no, because I don't believe that my opinion matters that much. I am definitely one of the. I've been following the race before anyone even declared that they're running, and I've been following it throughout. So my one single vote is meaningless because it gets drowned out by the hundreds of thousands to millions.
There's no specific issue that's important to you: education, healthcare, I don't know, Israel, foreign policy.
Sure. Everything's very important, but when you have a two-party system, it becomes a contrarian system where as soon as one party says one thing, the other party has to take the opposite side, which is why you've seen a lot of what used to be Republican positions became Democratic Party positions, and a lot of Democratic positions became Republican positions over the last 100 years, because once one party says something, the other party has to fight against it. No, I can give you a few very concrete examples. Look at war. The Republican Party was always historically the anti-war party. You look at World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea, all started by Democrats and opposed by Republicans in Congress. As soon as the Republicans became the pro-war party, the Democrats had to switch to the anti-war party. Look at the progressive movement. It was started by the Republicans. It was started by McKinley, Teddy Roosevelt. The Democrats originally opposed it. The Democrats were the small, the get out of the way of businesses.
They did oppose the Civil Rights Act also.
Yeah, they did oppose the Civil Rights Act, and this is something people know. But what people don't know is that the Cleveland-Harrison races of the late 80s through 90s were about big government or small government. Cleveland, the Democrat, was the small government guy who said, let's stay out of business's way. Harrison, the Republican, was the big government guy. So you see that the Republican Party went a complete swing on almost all their issues, as did the same with the Democratic Party. But let's look at an issue like global warming. Why is global warming a partisan issue? You know why? Because as soon as one party picks one side, the lobbyists on the other side quickly run to the other party, pumping a lot of money, trying to convince the other side to support their agenda. So when you have the alternate energy companies, they put money into the Democratic Party. You have the pro-oil companies, they put money into
basically all corrupt.
It's not. Look, it's a necessary evil, but it is, and it's very predictable. That's why I don't believe my opinion makes any. Look, everyone cares about the children. Everyone wants the best education. Everyone wants to be safe in foreign policy. And if the Republicans would have instituted Obamacare, let's say under George W. Bush, the Democrats would have been against it. If the Republicans would have tried doing immigration reform, the Democrats would have been against it.
So it doesn't really matter.
Two-party system, not really.
And how are you on the Israel issue?
Look, we have a lot of appreciation to both parties. They've been extremely supportive. The Republicans of late have been a lot more-
The Democratic platform, the Democratic platform towards Israel
Yeah.
hasn't changed much. But you see Palestinian flags over here. You see Israeli flags being burned here, and basically, in other words, I would say if Bernie Sanders wasn't Jewish, then the whole grassroots movement of the Bernie Sanders movement would be completely and totally anti-Semitic.
Okay, so there's a little more nuance to that, because if you look at Bernie Sanders' vote in the Senate, he's been extremely pro-Israel. So he does have that kind of, he has those credentials where he's able to say, hey, I'm not anti-Israel, I'm obviously not anti-Semitic. He does have some credibility in that sense. But look, the people waving the Palestinian flags, they have legitimate grievances. It's a free country. We support
absolutely.
the right to do so.
100%, but it's...
In fact, I would say the individual who ripped up the Palestinian flag and the individuals who burnt the Israeli flag, they should have a lot more respect and tolerance for other people's viewpoints. Because, look, democracy is supporting people whose voices you don't necessarily agree with, and not the people who you do agree with.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for the history lesson, sir. Have a good day.
I hope I didn't come across as lecturing you.
No, absolutely.